Hi friends, I'm Kimberly Gold with Always Unpacking. What am I trying to say? I don't know. I'm your host of Always Unpacking. Thanks for joining us today. Today I have my friend and fellow military spouse of the year, Vince Afaisen.
Hi. You did it.
Yes, I did it. You know, I'm so nervous about messing up the last name, butchering, because spell your last name.
Afaisen.
Yes, and I said everything but Afaisen until 3 minutes ago? 4 minutes ago?
It's fine. So you're like everyone else my entire life.
Oh gosh. But thank you for being
Thanks for
here.
having me.
Can you tell our listeners where you're coming from?
Oh gosh, right now?
Yes.
Well, I am currently living in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, but we'll be moving to Fort Riley, Kansas. So big, 2-hour far west move. But yeah, just coming from there.
And you're a brave soul because you're doing a Diddy move.
Yes. Speaking of packing. Yes, I will. It's my first attempt. It will be our first attempt doing a Diddy move. So it's going to be a lot of fun organizing and sorting. But you know what? This is spring cleaning for me.
Okay.
This
So
will be good.
are you doing like a lot of purging before you move?
Yes. I'm organized purging.
Okay.
So there's like, do I really need all my high school stuff that I think I'm going to fit again? Probably not. But yeah, I'm purging a lot.
Oh man, I think I have 2 items from high school left over. I have this, I'm kind of embarrassed. I have this denim skirt.
Keep?
It's mud, from Mud. Do you remember?
I mean, truth be told, I wore some mud jeans.
We are both geriatric millennials, so I just really value that you know what that brand is.
Yes. Mud, silver, Jinko.
Oh my God, Jinko.
Jinko was my jam.
I love Tommy Hilfiger.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good old TH.
oh my God, I had this one white shirt with like this red, white, and blue stripe down the side, which, thank God I was 100 pounds smaller back then, because that stripe would probably not do wonders for me right now, but oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was like, I want to say probably like the mid-90s package. It was my Jinko jeans, probably a Tommy Hilfiger shirt, and then the Calvin Klein stickers for the free cologne. So I get it. I've been there.
Wow, see, you were bougie with the Calvin Klein stickers.
Those were free at all the PXs.
No, but you're still bougie because I was totally like the cucumber melon girly. What was that brand? No, it wasn't that. What? I don't remember what that brand was.
I know what you're talking about because they also do Love Spell, right?
Yes.
Love
Was
Spell.
that Victoria's Secret?
No.
Okay, well, if you know what that, yeah, please, because that is like a core memory that is like fading fast.
I remember the Love Spell and the Cucumber Melon.
Yeah, those were my.
That's how the groups were in high school. You were the Love Spell girls and the Cucumber
Yes,
Melon.
and I just interchange. Wow. Okay. Well.
Oh, way back. Whoa.
Yes, way back. So you're gonna get rid of a few.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a prime opportunity to
Okay.
just start fresh, get organized, even prepare for the new installation.
I love that. One of my goals, even though I'm not going to PCS anymore, well, I don't think I'm going to PCS anymore, but one of my goals is to be able to pack up the house. Not me, because I don't want to do a Diddy move ever. But one of my goals is that I could do 8 hours, like in one work day, the movers could pack up my entire house.
That's common.
Is it?
For movers to come and pack in one day?
Yeah, not my moves. Not my
I'm trying to think, but maybe that's only because I had like a 1-bedroom apartment when they did that. So no, I guess that doesn't really count.
Yeah, I have a 5-bedroom home and 3,600 square feet.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a 2 years.
But that's like something that's my dream. So wishing you well on your literal unpacking and packing.
Packing. Repacking.
Yes. And but as we talk about like metaphorical unpacking, I think what's very interesting about you is that you are also a military brat turned military spouse.
Yes.
And you, like, the military spouse hasn't been your, like, identity since a young age. You're a fairly newer military spouse.
Yes.
And you're a male military spouse. Oh
Yeah.
my God,
I
a
know.
unicorn! So I'd love to just hear more about your experiences, what that's been like.
I mean, yeah, the dependent life, my dad was Air Force. Growing up, that's fine. I knew what a kid was. I was a kid. And then I loved it so much, apparently, that I'm like, I'm going to re-enlist to military life and marry a soldier. But no, it has been, it's been a lot different than being just a military child on an installation versus being a military spouse. One, there's just responsibilities as an adult. But two, I guess really just for me, my story currently is I'm a newer military spouse. I've only been a military spouse for 5, almost 6 years.
Okay.
My spouse has been in for 18 and a half, going on 19 years.
Wow.
So you think about I didn't come in at the beginning of career. I came in halfway and was like, cool, I guess I'm supposed to know your previous 10 years of what you're doing. And so that's where the challenge sometimes is for me as a spouse now, is my peers or the people that we would be in the same, years of service, they are way more knowledgeable sometimes, or at least experienced it. I don't want to necessarily say more knowledgeable or less knowledgeable, but they're just more experienced because they lived through the whole life. Where me, I'm just like, cool, I don't know. I'm like, hey, friends, let's go hang out. And then what happened is, I'm a male spouse.
And I think the data says that most military spouses, over 90% are female military spouses.
Yeah, so in all branches, from what I've seen and what I've looked up in research, because sometimes I'm just curious, less than 10% make up are male spouses. So just Army, because I'm an Army spouse, we make up less than 7%.
Wow.
So I take that math and I'm like, holy moly, I don't even want to know how many military spouses there are, but just knowing that that's the percentage and knowing there's hundreds and thousands of spouses out there and that where males are that minute, I was like, where are these guys? Let's all hang out.
Right. So. I have to be honest. I've definitely made the mistake and have learned because I have definitely gone into Facebook groups once upon a time and I've been like, hey, ladies. and I'm like, oh, no, don't do that. That's so sexist and so not inclusive. That's not welcoming because I can't. I know what it feels like to be isolated and to be left out, and I can imagine being sometimes in groups that are predominantly female military spouse and people not acknowledging, that there are other types of military spouses.
And that's probably was the biggest shock because I get involved with things. I just want to be a part of things and make friends and build connections and relationships. So the first year as a military spouse, I joined an organization, a club, and I was the only guy. And that's not uncommon from what I've seen at a lot of installations that, especially with spouses clubs, there's not a lot of men that join them. And if there are, they're the token guy or the token 2 dudes or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know how many times it was hey ladies, and Vince. And I'm like, okay, if I wasn't already scared and shy, that just made it more so because now you're oh, here's this big group we're shining light on, but let's put the spotlight on the one guy.
Right.
So right there, to already, even though you're trying to sound inclusive by saying ladies and Vince, what I've sometimes felt is you're doing opposite. You're actually making me stand out as different. So that's why it's oh, okay. And then now, I just go to different things and I try to be just another person there. And I try and use the lingo of not ladies and guys. I laugh about it because to me, it's not hurting anyone because I understand that that's, in the past, that's traditionally what it was. There weren't male spouses, really. There's just all the women, and that's fine. So by me, that's where I feel if I just show up and I'm just there, then maybe they're oh yeah, there are other men that are spouses as well. Again, we make up less than 10%. So 1 in every 10 you might see.
And I've known you for going on a year now.
Yeah.
We got to meet in real life in last May.
IRL is the kid.
Yeah, IRL, yes.
I'm hip.
But one of the things that I really let's like let's bring it back first of all. So we were both finalists for Army Spouse of the Year last year.
Yes.
And what I remember so vividly is you reaching out and saying, I'm cheering for you, I'm rooting you on. And it wasn't superficial. It was like, it was deep. It had depth, it was genuine, it was authentic. And then we met in May of last year, and I remember May of last year being 2024, because who knows when somebody's watching this. And then we met several months later, and I just remember like feeling your joy, feeling your authenticity, and my nerves were everywhere, and I just remember being so thankful and appreciative for that. So if you don't know Vince, you should, because he's amazing.
If it makes you feel better, I was just as anxious and nervous. And sometimes just sharing that anxiety and that joy. And yes, I mean, I really am genuinely just so happy when I see people doing great things. Mm-hmm. And so, we shared that common ground last year, and I was like, this is amazing. I don't know any of you, but I want to meet you. Right. So let's do it.
And I think it's beautiful because you show up very authentically in who you are, understanding that that you are a male military spouse, understanding that you're part of the queer community, understanding that you are part of the Asian Pacific Islander community, and you don't allow, like, you embrace all of these things that are you, but you don't allow other people, and you don't embrace like you are this one-sided person.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing, is depending on who I meet or what place I'm at, it's easy to do that. When you don't know a person, you can just put them into a category that you best understand. And typically, like I said, as far as military spouses go, the first one is usually always, it's a guy. Mm-hmm. And then it goes into, queer guy, or, same sex, has a husband, he's gay. Mm-hmm. I like that one, because I've experienced ups and downs with that, as far as being categorized, whether it's being from, Pacific Island, being a guy, being a former military dependent, being whatever, status I am doing, organization, and it sucks. So, because what happens is you lose, like, they could be like, Vince, we don't even care. But I feel like everyone, including myself, is made up of so many little pieces, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. And if you only categorize that one person in that one thing that you think, or it might be true, but you're going to miss out on a lot of the other joys. And so that's why I'm just like, no, peel the layers.
Yes.
I'm not just a guy. Mm-hmm. And I've experienced negative stuff too. Like, people only wanted me to be my friend because I was a guy. Mm-hmm. Or they only wanted to be my friend because I was married to a man. And they have that saying, the gay best friend. They're like, oh, you're going to be my new gay best friend. I'm like, or I could just be your friend that's Vince, that happens to be gay. Yes. So it's hard to navigate through that, but I feel like as long as I don't close the door and build that wall, then I'm able to listen and also hear them and see why they're coming or where they're coming from. And I've been able to actually successfully go through that with those people. And they're just like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't know you did that. I was like, yeah, it's a little bit more. And I think we just owe it to everyone, really, to be honest.
I agree. And I love that you say, I am Vince who happens to be gay. I was talking with somebody and they asked me, what do you think about women leaders? And I said, I don't think there are women leaders. I think there are leaders who happen to be women.
Right.
And I really want us as people to do a better job of unpeeling the layers, as you say, or as unpacking, as I would say, because we are so multidimensional. And if we focused on just the things that like I'm just gonna put you in this box, and like, you would miss out on the joy of all 1,000%. That you are.
Yeah. Or who they are. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, like, the amount of times I can be like, oh, well, that's like a young, pretty girl, well, that's very upbeat. She must just be XYZ. But how would I not know that, she's experienced whatever, or has been well traveled? And now we can talk about traveling. We can talk about vacation spots. Now we're booking a trip to go.
Right.
So the more you allow those people to come in, and that's why I like to look at people as a person, not what they are or where they work or what they do, but who they are to the core and what they represent as themselves.
Yeah. When I get to know people, instead of asking like their titles, because you notice we haven't talked about any titles really in this conversation, I really like to know like what are your values? Like what's what drives you? I think 100%. Understanding people in that context opens up so much more. I really applaud you because I know that there are situations often where people are immediately typecasting you in conversation, but you open up your heart, you open up your mind, you open your spirit to say, you know what, I'm gonna be a bridge builder, and even though this person is doing this thing trying to box me in, I'm gonna take the time to get out of my feelings and help them to understand like I am more than just a gay guy. I am more than just a male military spouse. I am more than just somebody who is of Chamorro descent, you know? So I really applaud you for that because that can be challenging.
It can be. And I think one of the bases, like we go back to values, right? I have a big, strong family value. I have my parents, I have 3 other siblings. I'm like one of 65 first cousins just on my dad's side. So I know it's a very small cousin group. I'm being facetious, obviously. But I'm used to that. So I'm used to having those core connections and really build. And, family is family. Everyone has ups and downs, marriages and friendships and siblings. But I've always used humor. I think that's the thing that I've learned throughout the years, because I've been picked on, I've been bullied, I've been, shunned, but on the same side, I've also been accepted. But when it comes to those negative stuff, I started to learn that if I joke about it, then it doesn't hurt me as much. And typically whoever is doing the negative or the assumption tends to be like, wait, what? So, the amount of people, like, I know I've shared this with a few people on YouTube, like, when I meet spouses, and they're like, oh, Vince, you're so great, we should, like, hang out. Like, what does your wife do? And I'm like, well, he does X, Y, Z. So, I have to joke about that. I'm like, oh, well, maybe next time. Like, maybe I'll have a wife that, like, it's just a joke, because I feel if I can diffuse it a little bit, then we can start laughing at it. And for me, I've said this also too, where I just think I'm all the female military spouses that I surround myself, I'm just their little brother, regardless of age, that they just all like to pick on me. And if they share common ground to pick on me and it makes them happy and it bonds us together, and it's not malicious, it's not ill intent. So I'm just like, fine, I'll be the annoying little brother that gets away with everything, like the youngest sibling. So let's just do that. And so it's nice to use the humor, and it's nice to bridge that gap, like you said, but it's finding where that bridge is to let that down so we could connect. And I love it when they think I'm a soldier. I'm like, no, that's my spouse over there. Oh, you're not in the unit. I'm like, no. Do I look like I'm fit for this unit?
That's what I say too. If somebody thinks I'm a soldier, I take that as the most greatest compliment, because I'm like, oh, you think I'm in shape, and I
guess I should look at it that way. I never did. I was like, no, I don't want to take the honor of what they're actually sacrificing, not me.
Yeah, no. Immediately it goes to like physical fitness for me. That's what it goes for me.
Yes, I did do PT this morning.
Yes, I aced that PT test.
Right.
No, but I really applaud you, because I think that takes a lot of self-sacrifice. I think it takes a lot of emotional intelligence. I think that I also believe in using humor and laughter to be a connecting point, to have difficult conversations. Because if you can laugh together, you can do so much more in life together.
Yeah. It makes it worth living.
And I think one of the things I've learned through mistakes, quite honestly, is the power of using language like spouse.
Yes.
I've been around the military community a long time, and I've definitely done that, where I'm like, oh, what does your husband do? And the person is like, my wife, and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. And yes, I believe that we are more powerful when we can use more inclusive language. I work really hard to try to say spouse. It's still a work in progress, but I know what it's like to feel left out. I know what it feels like to be isolated, and I never want anybody else to feel that way. So if what I can do is simply change the language from husband, wife to spouse, like, why wouldn't I do that?
It's such a simple, quick, easy change. And it covers all bases now, and that's what we are at the end of the day. We're just spouses. Not just spouses, you know what I mean? As far as like who we are, we're military spouses. We're not military wife, military husband. I mean, yes, that's a subset of it,
right?
But if we use those terms of spouse, I know personally for me, I would feel more a part of versus, you know, ladies and Vince, or women and Vince, because now it's just spouses. You've covered everybody,
right?
And now you don't know if there's the one random guy in the back corner. Like, I know what I felt like when it was like, oh, or the shy new female spouse. It's like, oh, there's like a guy, and again, it's just contingent on what they are looking for and how they're feeling, and no one's experiences and time in life at that situation in that moment are going to be the exact same. So by using those full inclusion of just spouses, you've just now really kind of connected and united everyone in the room.
Right.
So I think that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I try and do it as often as I can, because sometimes just the littlest change makes a big difference.
It does. And I think, you know, a lot of times when you are the minority in a room, a lot of times people will often ask the question like, well, what advice do you have for other minority groups like you to be more included? And I understand what they're saying. I understand that that's a question rooted in helping the person be empowered and motivational. But I believe in this season, we have to do the work when you're the opposite. So I don't want to ask that question. What I want to challenge people to do is, what can you do to be more inclusive to people who are not like you? When you sit in the majority, and for me, I sit in the majority as far as being a woman military spouse. So for me, my challenge is that I will use the word spouse when I'm first interacting with people. I know Vince, he's my friend, so now moving forward, like in conversation, obviously I can reference his spouse as his husband because he is my friend and I know this. But initially, my challenge is let's use some inclusive language to really be that welcoming community, because nobody wants to be isolated. Nobody wants to feel like the odd person out. We know what that feels like, and it's not cool. So, spouse, that's my challenge to you. What can you do to be more inclusive to communities that aren't like you? Yeah.
I mean, that was a lot. But we can do this.
Yes, we can. We can do
At the end of the day, we have each other. And the only way to keep that strong and going is to connect and build with each other.
Yes, find connection points.
Yeah.
Find connection points.
Challenge isn't hard, I promise. Just say hello. I'm like, good enough for me.
Yes. So as we close out the podcast, you are a road and plane warrior. So as you travel, what are some of the first things that you literally unpack?
No, literally unpack. I mean, some people will make fun of me, but it's usually my hair gel.
But your hair is fabulous. It's amazing. So well kept.
Well, thanks to the gel that's kept. I mean, yeah. I always have to carry that, some kind of comfort clothing.
Okay.
Something just comfy.
Okay.
And my charger.
Your phone charger.
Yeah, charger.
Okay, yes.
Gotta have the charger.
Yes. How many phone chargers do you own?
Well, there's usually like one in every room.
Okay.
Because sometimes I'm lazy too sometimes. I don't want to go upstairs or go to that, so it's just like, oh, here's a charger, here's a charger. So I have my travel charger, I have the car charger, there's the room charger, the computer room charger. So yeah,
I love it. You are prepared.
There's the portable charger.
So if Vince says, oh, my phone died.
Something's wrong. Send help.
Well, Well, thank you. You were such a joy.
No,
thank you for
thank you
being
for
on
having
Always
me.
Unpacking. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, Vince. How do we follow you and support you on your adventures? If for the listeners who want to stay connected.
I mean, well, we didn't talk about it, but I was culinary. I went to culinary school, so I do have an Instagram, cook_at_chef V, and then I have Facebook. I love welcoming new people. I share travels, like I said, planes, trains, and automobiles. I feel like I'm always on the road, in the sky, whatever. You can be my friend on Facebook.
Okay.
Just Vince Afaisen.
We'll make sure we share the links. And before we go, did you want to bring up your project that is in infancy mode?
Infancy mode. Okay, so it's basically like in a shell, no pun intended, but I guess. So because of that, I'm working on a potential. Now this is gonna be real. Like, ooh, I owe it to everyone. But I'm gonna work on a double day cookbook potentially. So I'm just in that idea and curating that, and we'll see what happens. I have an end time when I want it to be released. So I don't want to share that because I don't want all y'all to be like, it's this time. So it is. It's a fun outlet, creative idea that I wanted to share travels, experiences, memories into that little book. So stay tuned, I guess.
Yes, I can't wait to crack open that book.
There we go. Dad jokes. Hashtag.
Well, thank you again for being on the show. Thank you for listening, everybody. Make sure you stay connected to Always Unpacking. Make sure you stay connected to Vince, and I'm always looking for more people to talk with, so send them my way. Until next time, bye.